And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition of the Revival StarCraft League, the RSL, Season 2 Playoffs Day number 6. We are nearing the end of the broadcast, the end of the tournament. We have 4 players left. Bam, as you can see here, we have Zoun, Classic, Rainer, and Cure. We have our top 4 players of the tournament, and we're here to decide to find out who will advance on to the grand finals, who's going to be our first finalist. No one is being eliminated tonight, and we only have one series. We only have one series, which is a bit of a shame. I'll be honest, I have expressed that it's a little bit odd how few series are going to be covering for these broadcasts. If you recall, I did advise that, hey, if you're going to have so few matches per broadcast day, then it's worth, you know, filling and having other content to help fill the void, fill the space, and actually bring something to the table, whether it comes down to pre-game interviews, post-game interviews, again, just maybe even bringing in other casters, having a bit of a discussion leading into the series, and just making a little bit more of the broadcast overall, instead of what we currently have, which is just casting the matches, which is all well and good, but I feel like it could be a little bit more, especially considering how few matches there are for the playoffs. Hey, papi. We're just speed running through the tournament at this point, which oh god. So with that, we are going to be getting ready. Of course, the players are preparing as we speak, and it is going to be, I believe, a best of 7 of a bracket finals. Beautiful. And again, over the next 3 days, we're going to be crowning our champion. Today, we have day 6. Then, of course, tomorrow is going to be the lower bracket semis and lower bracket finals. And then the final day will be the grand finals. So 3 more days. Then 3 more days. Also, I do apologize if no sound. Do we have no sound? You scared me, Papi. You scared me. What do you mean? Do you not hear anything? Do we have no sound? No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't forget audio. Yeah. Audio is fine. How are you feeling about the patch changes, Light? I'm probably going to discuss a little bit more during the podcast. I still don't know if we should wait for the podcast to discuss the changes, or just create a separate video and upload that separately. I guess that's something that we'll decide after we finish wrapping up the TLMC. Like, the TLMC is of course going to be our priority. The RSL sound? The RSL sound is there. Like, it's on pre-sale later this year for me is it's intentionally low. Like, what are you talking about? I'm excited to get yeah, so the sound is fine. But yes, from here we're going to be getting into our next setup. We're going to be getting into our first and only series of the broadcast. Again, Vitas are underway. We should be getting player cams soon, and we should be getting the vetoes soon as well. Hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Of course, exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. You can support us via Patreon. You can support the RSL via Patreon as well. The Patreon, of course, is there to fund the event. They're bringing a lot of support on Patreon, of course, have been able to fund 3 seasons of RSL alongside the offline finals at the end of the year. So a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft, a lot of RSL action. Really exciting to hear that they are looking to book a venue, that they're looking to have an offline finals. Is definitely something to look forward to, and I hope that they're able to bring it all and piece it all together without too many issues, of course. I know it's going to be a big endeavor when it comes to booking a venue, when it comes to organizing the offline kind of production setup as well, and of course allowing for the audience to take part and to actually watch said event. Oh boy. So not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. So far, it's gone great. We've got our live event planned. A lot of people are signing up. Otherwise, and of course, if you're a Patreon supporter, you also get 20% discount on all Tasteless TV merch. That includes they have all the merch as well. True. Exclamation mark merch in the chat. One day we'll have our own merch. One day, baby, one day. You know everything you got, but if you haven't dropped down, but yeah, the patch, the PTR patch notes were released. We're still working through the TLMC map as well, the maps as well. I was live earlier today going over it through the judging process for the dynamic maps, and I was able to finish up, and I still have the rush maps to go through. I've got 3 days. I got 3 days left to finish judging the rush maps for TLMC, so we're almost there. And I still have to go through like my final scorings and my final revision as well, so there's still quite a lot to do. I'm hopefully going to be wrapping up most of that tonight, at least when it comes to the revision of all the other categories of TLMC. It needs likes. Otherwise, exclamation mark YouTube. True. YouTube in the chat. Into the YouTube bloodstream.
You know, there's actually a lot of great StarCraft content. You've got Loco, you've got Winter, Pig. Everybody's got a bunch of great YouTube content. But this new YouTube we made for the RSL is pretty new. I thought about using the YouTube I had, and I thought, no, I think it's better for the tournament and for the show. We can like track the metrics more exactly. If we just have a dedicated YouTube that's like for this program. So it's still,
as I mentioned, there's a lot of viewership on YouTube, more so than on Twitch. So if you want to be successful out there in StarCraft, you got to get your YouTube out there, baby. True. Oh, we got the player cams. We got our boys, and looks like we have our vetoes. Oh boy, it's gonna be a lot of maps. Okay, so game one is gonna be on Ultra Love. Game 2 is gonna be on Botanical. We then have Kill Switch, Tokamak, Maganatha, Leylines, and Evil Heart. 7 out of 9 maps in total. So an interesting lineup here. Again, vetoes are quite limited with what we can remove. The maps themselves, we actually left in some of the larger macro maps in Tokamak and Maganatha. But early on, we're going to have more aggressive options here for both Classic and Zoun.
But we do have humor. Do you feel a little bit better? Like,
comedy is healing powers.
I'll be honest, the map order matters a little bit less for a mirror matchup. To be honest, like the maps are like some are aggressive, some are more macro oriented. But in the PvP, we expect a lot of aggression. We expect a lot of all-ins. Let's go.
Versus Rainer and Cure.
yep.
As we have Zoun spawning as the blue Protoss in the top right, Classic the red Protoss in the bottom left. Ultra, pretty standard map.
There you go.
For map number 1.
For Team Vitality, Zoun for Virtus Pro, we got Classic, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat to get your Gamba going. Best of luck, baby. Best of luck.
Yeah. Right now, the builds are at least mirrored for here. It's going to be... This is a map where, you know, you have...
So as a reminder, we have a ramp coming into the natural. Because of that, it is very common to set up on the ramp, and it is very common to end up in Phoenix Wars. The reasoning for this is because the initial ramp, because of the opener setup, we should be seeing a gate cyber into expansion, but both players are going to be pylon block, or at least they should be pylon blocking each other, so they cannot throw down a Nexus. Because of all that excess resources, typically you go for a Stargate before Nexus if you're not able to get your Nexus up and running because of the pylon block. So because you go Stargate, your opponent goes Stargate, because you scout each other with the probe, you see each other's Stargates, and then you are forced to go into Phoenixes and to go into Phoenix Wars. Now, what I will say is that Classic, he very often does, if he's forced to open Phoenix Wars, he's one of those players that is a little bit cheeky. I say one of the players, a lot of the Korean players are cheeky, and they do decide to try to switch out of Phoenixes into Blink Stalkers and catch you with an all-in. Very common strategy from players like Hero, players like Classic as well. So that's going to be a viable option if we end up down the route of Phoenix Wars. For now, there's a Cybercore. We have the Zeld all the way for Classic. You need that Zeld to focus on the pylon. If you remember, we spoke about the pylon block. The pylon block is going to be a big factor coming into this. Both players have to make their Zealots, and we'll see if we're able to block, and we'll see if we're able to expand.
And we got to wait and see, you know, with the Nexuses starting soon here, what is the tech going to be post-Cybernetics Core?
Yeah, there's a couple different options. Usually if it's a one-gate expand, trying to defend against a one-base play,
talking about the Stargate?
Stargate opening.
There you go. There it is. So Stargate versus Stargate, Phoenix Wars.
Pose the counter-argument for it not being Stargate, and then both players threw down their Stargate, so...
Well,
yeah, again, we spoke about Stargates at the beginning of the game for good reason, because Stargate openers and Phoenix Wars are very common on Ultra Love.
For the production tab to change,
yeah.
Classic is going to try to get his Nexus down first, but a blocking pylon comes down
Now,
here.
which is why they got the Zealot.
It's a little bit of a delay right there.
Yeah.
So, if you remember, we spoke about how, yes, we go into Phoenix Wars from here, but Classic and potentially Zoun as well, they're very fond of going for a hard switch out into a Blink Stalker all-in, so we're going to be keeping our eye open on a Twilight Council timing. Otherwise, we should be seeing a second Stargate. Ooh, Oracle out of Classic. Uh-oh.
Delaying the expansion there of Classic.
Classic skipping the Phoenix will hurt him.
In the middle of the map, going Classic's way thus far. That Zealot actually got a couple of hits onto Zoun's Adept. That Adept might be going down, Tasteless.
Yeah, it's going to go down.
Yeah, he gets the kill. Zoun drops the first Adept. Actually pretty bad for early game here. And with two very different techs coming in here, it's Phoenix. Well, now it's going to be a full-on Phoenix War. It was one Oracle, but now we have the Phoenix coming up here. This Adept for Classic will be picked off. But
I mean, Classic making the Oracle first is going to hurt him when it comes to the Phoenix Wars, but you can see the Oracle is actually rallied towards the main base, and the Oracle has potential. If the Oracle can get some economic damage done, it's going to be worth it, but if it doesn't, then Classic will fall behind.
There on some units in the main, but probably no probe damage coming in.
Meanwhile,
Already
second Stargate, so Classic is not going for that Blink Stalker switch, is doubling down with Mass Stalker. Sorry, Mass Phoenix is what I meant to say.
Really fast through gas. That signals to me that Zoun is also going to be wanting a second Stargate in just a moment.
Yeah, and once you get locked into Phoenix,
There's a recall,
it's
6
pretty hard
probes.
to actually get out.
Oh,
Not bad.
Actually missed that. The Oracle got 6 probe kills during all of that.
Yeah.
That's huge in a Phoenix mirror.
Yeah, that's actually massive.
I almost feel like Zoun can no longer go Phoenix versus Phoenix here. He will just get out macroed. I think you have to do something different. You have to create some asymmetry.
I think you're right, State. I don't know how you play from behind here. But it's going to be hard to segue into something else, right? He already has...
I mean, there is an earlier window because Classic has less Phoenixes, but the Oracle goes back in. Oh no, he goes back to the natural.
Oracle from Classic
What's there to defend?
coming in again here into the main.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Pulls away.
I think maybe he gets 1 probe kill. Yeah, it gets 2 in the main base. Zoun is still going to commit to the second Stargate.
Well,
it is so hard to win a mirror when you're down this much economically. 10 probes, it might not feel like a lot, but trust me, it's a lot
massive,
this early
man.
in the game.
On 2 base this early?
Yeah. For Zoun, because we did have the Oracle production early on here for Classic, Zoun might have a brief moment.
That's why
where
Classic is actually parked on top of the shield battery.
On top of this
He's trying to camp the production.
Might just be a snipe, like spawn camp. But Classic, he's already basically evened up. Yeah, he has evened up the Phoenix count. It's 6 versus 6, and so the economic lead here for Classic moving forward, assuming this just continues to go down the path of Phoenix versus Phoenix.
Now, this is the issue with mirror matchups, especially for PvP or for most mirror matchups. Once you fall behind, you stay behind. It is difficult to recover, especially in Phoenix Wars, right? Like, from here, what can Zoun do? He's locked into making Phoenixes, and right now the hope is to outposition Classic.
Yeah. Now, Zoun's just staying outside. We have the little Phoenix flower made over here as far as the formation goes. I think Zoun got a little bit of the upper hand there. He hit that, disguised that pretty well. 8 versus 8 right now. It's not bad for Zoun. The problem is that behind all this, development is going to be pushed further forward here with Classic. I mean,
We have a Sentry, we have a Guardian Shield.
Classic sending a probe cross map now. We'll see if he drops some pylons at the potential third base locations here for Zoun. It's a very common tactic in Phoenix versus Phoenix is you really want to invest all of your resources.
Oh no, he's coming in for a flank. He has Guardian Shield
as well to mitigate some of the damage. Of course, the Phoenix with 2 attacks, the Guardian Shield extra effective against it, so Zoun is going to retreat. He does not want to fight.
Yeah, and Zoun should just be shut down
goes
here.
For one more battle, but in that skirmish, another Phoenix of Zoun going down.
And like, what can you do?
Third Nexus started here for Classic, and this is what we were alluding to here.
Yeah, you can just clean out.
That's going to be a GG. Okay. Yeah, I mean...
GG, well played. Again, the early game, unfortunately, I say early game, it came down to the Oracle, right? We spoke about how it was so risky for Classic to go for the Oracle first, but it went unscattered, right? Zoun, he didn't know that an Oracle was coming out instead of the Phoenix. He saw the Stargate. He didn't see the first unit being built. So he had no defensive setup in the main base. The Oracle got in. The Oracle killed 6 probes, and we got another 2 probes after that. 8 probe kills in total, and it was a very, very nice lead for Classic. And as they were mentioning, as we tried to emphasize, losing that many workers in a mirror matchup is almost game then and there. Right? Because in a mirror matchup, you have the same tools as your opponent. It can be very difficult to recover, especially in Phoenix Wars. If this was a more standard PvP, then you can go for Adept Harass, you can go for DTs, you can go for Blink Stalker aggression. Like, there are other ways to try to recover, but specifically in Phoenix Wars, your options are limited. Your options are limited to making Phoenixes. And you have the same production as your opponents, you just fall behind. You fall behind, you stay behind. It is brutal to have that many losses in a mirror matchup, Phoenix War, but now we get into game 2. Game number 2. I don't think game 1 really told us anything about the series. Like, sure, Classic takes the lead, Zoun will lose game 1, but it came down to, like, the Oracle, right? It came down to the Oracle dealing damage. Like, by no means do we expect this to be one-sided. We're hoping for Zoun to fight back, to pose a threat, and I don't think we really got to, unfortunately, get too much of Zoun in that first game. So we'll see how he can spread his wings, loading into Botanical. Now, Botanical is a map that I have very limited experience with. It is one of the newer maps added to this tournament. I believe it is a newer map, but it is not a part of TLMC. It's technically an older map, but it was never a part of any major tournament. Never made it into the map pool. It was made quite some time ago, but we'll see how it fares. Again, I believe there's also a ramp at the natural, which means we could see Phoenix Wars again.
Top left, Classic in the bottom right, and what is hopefully a little bit more of a close PvP here. Yeah, I mean,
So again, I have very little experience with this map, but looking at the minimap, it does look like there's a ramp going down from the natural. So if that is the case, then that means that there's a higher chance that we once again go for the gateway, go for the cybercore, go for the nexus, go for the Stargate.
It's one of the things in PvP that's so hard to recover from.
Yeah, and we already have a little bit of a divergence in builds here between Classic and Zoun. This is another high ground natural expansion map, but the ramp is considerably wider than it is on Ultra Love. There's even this little destructible debris on the side. And so Zoun is opting to go for the high ground with his wall in, and that indicates to me that he might be going for some kind of one base or aggressive play versus.
Yeah, so Zoun going for the high ground setup is very unnatural. It's a little more obscure here, and because of that, it is going to tip Classic off. Classic should be the defender, Zoun should be the aggressor. What this does also mean is that no Phoenix Wars. So this time, no Phoenix Wars. Zoun, he does open up 2 gate. He has the option to go for a 1 base all in.
2 gates over here for Zoun on the high ground in the main. 1 on the low ground here for Classic. Now, obviously, you can threaten that player. When I say low ground, by the way, there is, just like the previous map, there is that same kind of level of elevation where super high ground to middle ground to low ground. But you can create some threats, so I'm not shocked that we're probably going to see a proxy pylon over here from Zoun.
Yeah, remember we were talking about the gateway scout timing and PvP and map number 1, and how if you don't go for the really early scout, your opponent can just throw down the Nexus.
So Pylon is on the way.
Cybernetics core. That is exactly what Classic.
Yeah, we did see Classic go for a greedier build. This is lining up better for Zoun.
He sees the timing of the Cybernetics core. He knows that Classic is playing this greedy play, and he is just going to try and break it. But even with that Pylon proxied so far forward, it is not easy to break down this defense. Players have gotten so good at just being ironclad with that high ground expansion in PvP. Usually the Void Ray is going to be the anchor of the defense as Classic throws down the Stargate. The moment that Cybernetics core is done, even before starting his Stalker. And he's also going to spot the Robo. Most likely
nice
this will
scout.
be a Warp Prism with Stalker play.
Okay, so does scout the Robo. Again, this is going to be a 1 base all-in out of Zoun. Classic is now aware, and Classic is opening Stargate. Ooh, that is a brutal decision here. So Classic, he's going to have less to defend. He will have Void Rays available, and Void Rays are okay, but it's not going to be an easy defense here for Classic, but at least he knows.
There really isn't a game where this stretches out. The Stalker's going to spot this, and, you know, it's going to be really scary. You can go right into Warp Prism. I've seen Immortals made here as well, although I think the Warp Prism is a little bit... Okay,
Yeah,
it's going to be the
Immortals
Immortals
Oh, it will be.
to come in here and bust us down. I feel like Warp Prism was maybe a little bit more popular in the games we cast. Nice block!
I wonder if that's also because of the size of the ramp here. I didn't consider that here on Botanical.
Well, the
Maybe
pylon
even
kind of juts forward a little bit, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Classic really getting a lot of value out of these 2 Stalkers. Zoun's is so low. The low HP Stalker here for Classic has been able to regenerate its shields thanks to that shield
some
battery.
really nice control by Classic, despite having a worse start. Void Rays are on the way, and again, he has to rely on these Void Rays to survive.
There's the second shield battery completing the wall.
He needs those Void Rays.
He's going to try and hold the top side of this ramp. Now, that Pylon is the only one powering the Gateway and the Stargate for now. And with the vision from the Adept, because the ramp is so wide, Classic can't actually
he gets a Stalker.
But the Void Ray finishes.
He gets
Look at that
it.
damage done on the Stalkers.
Yeah, and it's funny because the Stalker damage that
Limited
was dealt early
anti-air.
on,
No Warp Prism, no Micro. He gets both Stalkers. Up.
Killed for a second.
Oh
And
my
I think
god.
this rush might be over. Look at this. There's like
Yeah.
a green stutter step micro here for the Void Ray.
Caught the first Stalker. That was
The
huge.
Immortals
And now the Immortal's going to go down.
this
Okay, the
way
Prism.
across the map.
Prism does save.
And he does save it. Nicely done. But
Void Ray
the
gets out.
question is, did that buy enough?
Ah, the terrain.
Void Ray coming out here as well. There
The
are
Void Ray
pilots that have been
escapes.
made. Kind of a crazy moment. It looked like it was so close to that one pylon getting shot down.
Okay, now we have
And
2 Void
possibly
Rays. Oh, you can see the interception. Yeah, Zoun coming in with the intercept.
Over in that area.
Can he catch the Void Ray?
So
Oh,
good, and he's bought so much
doesn't
time.
quite get
I
it.
even like him with that.
Yeah, Void Ray
in the
does get
middle. He
through.
took some HP damage, but he traded it off to get one more hit on the Stalker with very low HP of Zoun, and that caused the shield.
And now what? He's pushing into what? 3, 4 shield
A
batteries?
little bit more.
4 shield
Now we're gonna
batteries.
try and do some micro here for
Soon to be
Zoun.
3 Void
These buildings
Rays.
on the very front, besides the Stargate, they don't matter all that much. Force fields
okay,
are going to
force
drop. That
fields.
will force Zoun to pull back again with a Warp Prism. And although there's no consequential trade as a result of that, it is buying Classic more time. And once we get 3 Void Rays out tasteless, we're getting pretty close to critical mass here on defense.
Yeah, there's a lot of Stalkers up here, but the
Okay, gets
Void
one,
Rays
gets
and
two.
the, the
Ah,
force
miscontrol
fields,
out of
everything else
Zoun.
are making it a lot tougher to get in here.
Does miscontrol.
And, you know, again, if it's a 1 base versus a 2 base, in a game like this, Zoun's going to be obsolete very quickly, so he has to figure something out. There's no obvious weak point here at the entrance. Classic has to be careful not to overextend. We saw those Void Rays and Stalkers maybe move out a little bit too far here. The Immortal hasn't really been able to properly engage onto any Stalker.
Yeah, Classic has to be very careful. The Stalker count is getting higher and higher, and eventually it will reach a critical mass where it's able to one-shot these Void Rays if every Stalker is able to get into range. And that's a situation where you do not want to be too far forward. You want to be within the safety of all these shield batteries. There's another engagement really kicking off here. These shield batteries getting put to work.
I mean, with the amount of shield batteries here, I don't see this being broken, right? You got 4 Void Rays, you go 6, 7 shield batteries.
Classic thus far has lost 1 Stalker.
Classic, he's on 2 bases. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic.
Yeah, Zoun has no direction to go other than just the same one he's already in. He has to just keep trying to bust this open. Another Void Ray comes out. I mean, at this point in time, you kind of take anything.
He commits, he gets one.
Here. Nice targeting, takes one of the Void Rays out immediately. The core does go down, but was that enough damage, or maybe even an overextension here? These Stalkers are looking very weak.
Stalkers are being targeted one after the other.
Juggle these,
they're so low.
Stalkers here with the Warp Prism.
Gets another Stalker.
Yeah, but we're at the threshold. The
Prism goes down.
The Warp Prism goes down. The Stalkers fall, and Classic with a textbook defense. Some really nice micro is going to win game number 2. And this best of 7 is off to a really good start for Classic. Those are 2 fast and clean wins.
Yeah, GG. This is also why, if you recall, I was concerned about this only being 1 series for this broadcast, because there's only 1 best of 7, and a 4-0 can be quite fast in a PvP. Even a best of 7, full 7 matchup, 7 games can be a fast PvP as well. But when it came to that all-in, again, losing that first Stalker was brutal. Losing that first Stalker, losing momentum early on, and losing control of the center of the map gave Classic so much time. Unfortunately, Zoun did overextend. Zoun here overextended early on. He pushed in too soon. He did, of course, encounter the Void Ray, pushing up the ramp. The map itself does favor defensive play because of that ramp coming into the natural. That's why it's more viable to go for these greedy and economic builds. Despite that, I did believe that Zoun would have a chance, but we saw that, again, losing that first Stalker was just a brutal start. And almost from the beginning of the all-in, Zoun lost momentum. He lost momentum. He kind of lost any kind of presence that he had on the map. It was also unfortunate that he got scattered, right? That's another factor as well, is he got scattered early on. Classic was able to mentally, physically prepare for the all-in. Didn't waste any time making an Oracle, just went straight for the Void Rays. GG. GG, well played.
Guys, consider signing up for the Patreon. This has been...
it looks like they're going to cut to break. Fair enough. So I guess we'll be cutting to a break as well. So once we come back, we'll have the rest of the series. Again, the reason why there's a break here is because the series might just be this might just be the halfway mark, right? It might be halfway through the series. So we're going to be going for a short break. When we come back, we'll have game number 3. And we do expect aggression out of Classic soon. I mentioned this coming into the series, but we do expect to see all-ins from Classic. He's very fond of them. But game 1 and game 2, both maps had a ramp coming into the natural, so it favors more defensive, more economic builds. As we enter some of the maps that don't have that ramp, that's when Classic can really get into his own, be hyper-aggressive, and do what he does best. 1 base robot all-in. We'll get there. We will get there. For now, we're going to be going on that break. We'll see you soon. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, we have returned with the potentially second half of the broadcast.
Both games we had a critical error here from Zoun.
With the second half, and so far we're up 2-0. Classic is up 2-0. It has been I would say, the score is one-sided, but the games themselves have been pretty clear-cut. Game 1, we saw that Classic got away with a Stargate opening into the Oracle. The Oracle did critical damage, and with that, Classic was able to take a massive lead and just take it from there. Game 2, Zoun went for a one-base all-in, got scattered early on. On top of that, he was all-inning on a map that has a ramp coming into the natural, and Classic was able to shut down the all-in very, very well and very, very hard. So, again, I kind of said this after the first game. I don't really believe that either Game 1 or Game 2 is really indicative of the series. We just haven't been able to see Zoun get into his game. It just hasn't happened. He just hasn't been able to get into his game and play any StarCraft. As we load into Kill Switch. Now, Kill Switch is known for being a rush map, but rush distance doesn't really matter too much in PvP. Something else is important. I believe Kill Switch is another one of these maps that has a ramp coming into the natural. And you know what that means? That means that Gate Cyber Expands are common on this map, which leads into Phoenix Wars. Zoun will have another option here to one base all in. Will he go for it? Let's go.
It's a tough situation to handle strategically here at Zoun in terms of how you execute your build order, right? Like, you got to make the right choice here. And I'm not sure that leaning heavily in either direction is the right one. It's tricky when you play against somebody like Classic.
So once again, we did mention, as you can see, here's the ramp coming into the natural, so that means Gate Cyber Expand is the go-to. And we do see that this time Zoun sits up on the low ground. Both players are going for the same openers, and this should lead into Phoenix Wars just like Game 1. I say it should lead. You could try to deviate away from that. You could try to go for a greedier build. You could try to be cheeky and go for a Twilight Council, but we expect to see Stargates.
We've got the probes grazing by each other, and we'll wait for the cybernetic score to come down and basically get an idea of what kind of game this is going to be. If Classic wins this and goes up to 3-0, it's going to be really tough for Zoun to 4-0 from there. I mean, that's just really, really hard to imagine.
Yeah, if we get a Classic 3-0 lead after this game, if I'm Zoun,
I wouldn't say that it's hard to imagine, just because these maps have been very specific and very unique, and as we get into some of these other maps like Maganatha and Tokamak, as we do get the Nexus down. Okay, Zoun does get the Nexus. Pylon Block was not there.
Classic was
not able nice win. Classic messed up. But again, like these, like Game 1, Game 2, and here coming into Game 3, like these, I don't think this is really indicative of like how the rest of the games are going to play out. Like it's been very specific.
It's greedy, but I don't know that it's that risky.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Well said.
And so this is one stride in a great direction here for Zoun.
Yeah, so Zoun, he was able to get the Nexus down. Classic, he missed the pylon block, so that was Classic's mistake. Meanwhile, Classic, he responds with a proxy pylon. Do we get some shield batteries? There it is. Yeah, shield batteries are on the way, and he's going to be rallying across the map.
I don't know why. I didn't see that was actually his...
Yeah, this is like a standard response if your opponent gets their Nexus. Is to rush shield batteries, race across the map, and try to take control of the pylon and control the natural.
Shield battery, that Zealot in slow motion, moving across the center of the map. Getting closer and closer to Zoun's base. That's a lot of batteries on both sides.
Zoun didn't pull too many boys, which is a little bit concerning. The shield battery should finish, and then we can start focusing on the pylons.
Now it has so much room to tank here.
Zoun just completely locked in the wall. Classic's working on it right now with the Zealot. I think the Zealot is just barely damaging the shield battery.
The Adept can actually, I think,
yeah, Adept will help
down before it
to cancel.
He just has to make sure that he...
Oh, nice re-wall. Okay.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, he does it again!
Where's this pro?
I can't even see
it's
this.
the one right by the stalker there on the low.
I
completely missed it.
He's crazy.
I wouldn't even mind Zoun throwing down a pylon.
That was really nice, actually. Really nice play out of Zoun.
Faster than the shield battery because it completes faster, but in any
oh my god, he just keeps getting it up.
This down. Classic, he is expanding behind.
He's crazy.
Just started for Classic, and his Stargate is done. So Classic,
and with that, Zoun defends. Zoun, he defends. Classic, he needs to achieve so much more damage with this. He's getting some probe kills, but this should not be enough. He gets only 2.
Only 2.
And, I mean, where are we at exactly? Classic is ahead by a little bit. Obviously, this is a big amount of money to spend on all those batteries and the pylon. And They're inevitably going to be killed off. The funny thing is, I guess you can just have an Adept stay alive for this long.
It's one of those things where these 3 shield batteries, I mean, he forced a shield battery response out of Zoun, so you could argue that they both kind of invest into this, but this was a bigger investment from Classic for sure. Meanwhile, the Stargate is out, the Oracle moves out across the map, 5 probes going down in total. This is actually adding up quite a bit.
Actually, Classic ahead in workers.
Jesus.
And his Nexus is going to finish too, so he will maintain that lead.
That's insane to me. The way this game started, and then the fact that he's ahead right now.
What on
and
earth?
he's going to get more workers.
Oof. Yeah, the shield batteries are still alive.
Harder to kind of force
Like, they're still maintaining the Oracle.
Oh!
Classic shield
my
battery
God.
sealed up the Oracle a little bit too to allow him
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
one
yeah.
more probe.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
Workers have still fallen.
That's the purpose of the shield batteries, is that they survive long enough for the Stargate unit to come out as well, to help support. Sometimes it's Oracle, sometimes it's Phoenix as well.
So much done, and the Oracle follow-up. We somehow still have a 6-worker lead, 5-worker lead here for
Classic, he maintains his
over Zoun,
lead.
despite the Nexus being what feels like a minute later.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. So, you know, from here,
This is
still
pretty
gonna be an
crazy.
uphill fight for
True,
Zoun.
true.
Classic's going to try to
It
dive
is
in once
crazy.
more. There are Stalkers here. I don't know what the Oracle Void Ray pair does exactly. Yeah, I guess he just wanted to see, like... are
Oracle
you
Void Ray can help
gonna
focus on
watch
units
this?
and focus on
Blink
probes
is
that much
coming.
faster.
It is going to be earlier here for Zoun.
You can see Zoun looking a little bit uncomfortable in his chair. Does get up for a moment. And Zoun is behind, right? He's behind his down in workers. The pressure's on Zoun to recover. Now, thankfully, because this isn't Phoenix Wars, Zoun, there are going to be opportunities to go to try to counterattack, to outposition his opponents, and to go for DTs, to go for run-bys, to go for Adept harass as well. There are going to be opportunities, but he has to go for them, right? He has to go for these opportunities as he's losing more probes. No. Oh.
And, you know, it's still just Classic getting these jabs in everywhere.
The Nexus did survive there at the 3rd base, although it took a little bit of hull damage.
I think that Classic might just be able to attack here. He might just have like 4 or 5 more Stalkers. You keep in mind, this Nexus, it's going to be... when it
The
finishes,
answer is yes.
it does
Classic, there should be a
pretty low
timing
on
available
HP.
to him after he gets his 3rd base up and
Might not
running.
have any shields. The hull of it might be damaged, and you know, with the, I mean, it's been like about a 6 or 7 worker lead for most of the game. That might just lead to a couple more Stalkers to a straight up win. Excuse me, a win taking out the 3rd.
But this is why we emphasize a lot that it's on Zoun to try to do some counter damage to keep Classic's attention back at home. The problem is that isn't happening.
Yeah, right now it's only a 1-Stalker advantage here for Classic, but keep in mind he has that Oracle, he has the Void Array, he also has a Sentry here on the front line. That income advantage just huge here for Classic for the vast majority of the game. It's been like...
Yeah, there's
It's
been a
been
couple
minutes.
moments. The ticker's gone down in the blue for like you know maybe a half a minute or something, probably less than that even. So here comes the push, and I love this dude. Makes 2 hallucinated Stalkers.
And
Yeah, that is Hank, and they will.
Units. He has Stalkers, I think, in the main base and potentially even natural expansion because of that Oracle on the map. So his full force is in here on the front. That's going to open the window for Classic to get more damage done. Looking at the mini-map, we can see Classic moving into the main base. His Oracle does
Oracle
get
goes down.
sniped by Zoun, so Zoun will finally be able to pull those Stalkers back into the forefront.
Seems like Classic wasn't able to actually come through and take the Nexus out. I guess I misread that. I thought he might have enough. The Templar Archives has started. We have 5 more gateways.
No, I
coming
do
down.
think that he could have applied more pressure, thrown down extra gateways, and committed to the 3rd base. Classic did opt not to go for the extra
Trying to take
gateways.
down that 3rd base, he could have done it if he
Yeah.
wanted to play an all-in style. But
Well, I
it's
guess
a game
it's-
of limited information, right? Why would you take that risk here as Classic?
I guess also you see probes above the Nexus. You're like, well, I definitely kill that, you know. I guess it's a game of, you know, making sure you win and not win more. You know, killing a couple probes at the top and a couple Stalkers is still a win, not a win more move. Not a, you know, I'm going to throw everything I've got into a game where now I'm at a disadvantage. This Phoenix is going to see, Hallucinated Phoenix is going to see all these gateways finishing. And this is where we're going to see a big pump in units. Both sides are taking their 4th bases, albeit in different positions.
Yeah, and Classic is powering up a little bit faster with these gateways and with the 4th base coming in. His upgrade's just a touch ahead. Charge is going to finish now. It doesn't seem like he's going to get aggressive. In fact, he's just now starting the big Zealot warp in, so he won't really be able to capitalize on that specific advantage, but it's still looking like a very good position right now for Classic. Zoun, he has been able to close the distance in terms of workers. He's actually passed Classic as Classic is cut at 61 since he's not saturating the gases at the natural or the third base. It's only 3.
I mean, the reason for this is Classic is building up his army.
Zoun's gone up to 4, so he will have more Archons.
Like, Classic is not making probes intentionally, so.
Oh, he
Gonna
might
warp
have.
him. It's kind of funny.
Oh, no, excuse me. Classic also did have that 4th gas there at the third base.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Zealot Archon's going to be big now.
Okay, now saturating his 4th.
Classic gets one more Immortal out here. And, you know, it's funny. PvP, a lot of times, it's a lot of Stalkers for a while, but eventually you've got to get the charge lots. You've got to get the Archons there. And so we're seeing that accumulation happen. Classic has a Warp Prism quietly moving to the bottom of the map. And this is probably to do a positional play, or even a counter play, I guess, if Zoun decides to move out.
Yeah, the goal is that once the fight commences, Classic he heads straight for the natural and goes for a massive warp in. We do see Zoun does find a way up the ramp though. Pokes in towards the bases. As you can see, his Warp Prism does teeter towards the natural. He's tempted. He's going for it. Yeah, Prism goes in.
By here on the front lines, but again, the rush distance, we're like 2 screens away from Zoun's natural expansion. It's quite close. Engagement coming
Prism
in.
into
These
the main.
force fields will isolate a couple of Zealots. Classic is now going for the drop in the main base here of Zoun.
Doesn't quite warp in.
Yeah, this is going to be something.
Yeah, that was a little bit
I guess
fumbled
isn't
there
gonna
from
do too
Classic.
much, you know, with the way that the Warpins are going. In fact,
Warpins
I don't
are
even
finishing
think
up
a single
there.
probe has been killed here. Meanwhile, an attack in. The angle looking pretty healthy here for Zoun. Classic actually bled off a lot of Zealots with this Warpin. That's only just now starting to get a
Yeah, the Warpin's not quite worth it.
number of probe kills.
Yeah, I think Classic really wanted to break open this position by going for these Warpins in the main base of Zoun, but it has backfired a little bit. He wasn't able to breach this 4th base. The high ground expansion here on Kill Switch, especially with the destructible debris, makes it very difficult to move up that ramp. And Zoun's now equalizing on work. Like the workers have equalized. The 4th base is going to be saturated here in a moment. He's faster on the 5th Nexus. The upgrades are equivalent. His position has improved considerably since this early game.
It has. Like, Zoun, he's been able to stabilize here. Honestly, the ramps and the terrain on this map have been helping a lot. It's been working both ways. Where Zoun hasn't really been able to push up the ramp, but neither has Classic. And Classic has been trying. Like, he's been trying to be the aggressor here, but he just cannot push up these ramps. Zoun going for a massive counterattack.
Zoun to get down into is being exploited.
It's a lot of Zealots.
So many Zealots, Tasteless.
Yeah, and there's nothing to defend here. And the supplies are so high, you literally can't warp in enough Zealots to fight that. And now Classic's
getting caught
army
out?
might be so fractured.
Yeah, these Archons are being left behind.
There's really not
Base goes
anything that
down,
he can
Classic,
do.
he will
I mean,
lose
you
3
that base at the
Archons.
top, he's going to lose his fight at
And
the
Classic
bottom.
is falling apart. He's falling apart, losing 1, 2, 3 Archons go down.
I wonder actually if there was a recall to the wrong expansion there, because Classic recalled, I think, to the natural expansion or to the 3rd base. He didn't recall to the base that was under fire, so
Recall
he
to
couldn't
the
even
3rd.
kill the Zealots as a consolation prize. And now Zoun is the one getting aggressive here, pushing up the ramp. The charge
He's
Zealot
breaking
numbers are
through.
overwhelming. He has
He's
Archon
doing it.
superiority as well. That Void Ray, it's doing what it can, but I feel like Zoun has just completely toppled Classic. What a turn of events.
Yeah, this is looking really good here for Zoun. He's going to keep pressing forward. He's got to be careful not to overextend. This one Archon over here in the front, very low. It is taken out.
He just has to play carefully, getting more Warpins. He's got his Archons behind this. He can get on top of the Immortals.
Usually enough damage.
Zanny's doing it, Pat. He's doing it.
So it's not doing any damage, and it doesn't seem to be deterring.
And again, this is why we try to emphasize, or I try to emphasize as much as possible, even though they were a little bit doomer about it. Like, the first 2 games were not indicative of how this series would play out. Like, the first 2 games were not good examples of what Zoun can be made of in the mid-game. GG gets called, Zoun takes the game, fights back.
How funky it was with the probe and the battery harassment coming in from Classic. Classic still somehow came up on top. You know, his Nexus was later, but he had more workers. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So GG, well played. Again, Classic did have the stronger early game, but he did miss his opportunity. If you remember, they were assuming that Classic was going to break the 3rd. I was alongside them when it comes to Classic breaking the 3rd base, but Classic chose not to commit. If you remember, he chose to delay his gateways and to expand instead, which means that the push didn't really do anything, and he didn't capitalize on his lead. I do think that if he had thrown down gateways earlier, if he had committed to the 3rd base instead, as even our casters here did mention, he would have broken the 3rd and he probably would have broken Zoun. Instead, he went for a much more tame approach, allowed Zoun to recover, allowed Zoun to get into the mid-game, and this is the first game where Zoun actually got into the mid-game. And this is like a better kind of like example of what these players are made of and how these 2 can face off in the mid game, if we can get there. I mentioned before that Classic is known for one thing and one thing only, that is all-ins in PvP. We haven't seen it yet. Classic hasn't had the opportunity to go for all-ins, but as we get into Tokamak, as we get into Maganatha, as we get into Ley Lines, these 3 maps are more known for proxy play. This is where Classic can be hyper-aggressive and turn the heat up.
Maybe.
You know, I think we've all had it where we've beaten somebody a couple times and you go, well, maybe I'm going to have a little bit too much fun in our next game. But it did make it a kind of tough spot. But, you know, Classic kind of came out ahead anyways, right? That's a lot of money you spend on batteries. But he did end up getting probe kills. At the very end, the Adept and Oracle actually killed off enough probes that Classic did have a lead. So, you know, kudos to Zoun. He actually managed to recover with just better movement, better late game control, better decision making, and a great counterattack with those Zealots.
Yeah, and it's sometimes very difficult to find your footing after you have an early game like that when there is Zoun, because he knows that Classic should not have gotten that much damage done.
Right.
He knows that his position is a little bit tricky, and to reset and go back into getting the 3rd base, into the 4th base, and develop normally again after that, it can feel really, really funky, but Zoun just played it so well. So Zoun, he's finally on the board now. This best of 7 is 2 games in favor of Classic. Zoun fighting back to win map number 3. I think we're going to have a little bit more aggressive PvPs here as we move forward.
I would agree. I mentioned before that again, Classic, he is known for going for proxies, and that's what I'm leaning towards here on Tokamak and on Maganatha. So we'll keep an eye on Classic. This time, finally, we are entering maps that do not have a ramp coming into the natural. So now we have 2 gate openers. 2 gate openers are going to be more standard. This is why the previous 3 games were a little bit more quirky, is because they did have ramps coming into the natural instead. So they could go for these more greedier builds. They can go for these more gate cyber expand openers instead, which led into the game states that we saw here. And now we have a much more standard PvP, quote-unquote standard PvP, where we can opt to hide the pylon and commit to proxies, and try to play around with the openers. Oh, Classic cutting corners. He's going for the Nexus. No, he's going for the Nexus. Yeah.
That's pretty greedy, man.
That's crazy.
We kind of thought this wasn't going to happen here.
So I thought that Classic was going to be the one going for the all-in, but it might just be Zoun instead. Zoun, if he can scout this, I mean, he blindly might just throw it in the pylon, but if he scouts this, he can respond with the one-base all-in, and he will have the lead, or the advantage.
Otherwise, a player like Classic wouldn't be doing it, but there's a certain buffer zone of, like, who's this going to favor, the defender, the aggressor, and I would say that on the high ground natural expansion maps, it's definitely easier to defend with the void rays, where...
So coming into this, this should be a proxy Stargate. It's in position to go into the mineral line. This is not a position for a proxy Robo. And there it is. Stargate is on the way, so this should be for economic damage, not for an all-in, which means Classic will be able to get away with his opener. We'll see if he scouts this.
And we got to see if it's going to get scouted. Oh, it looks like it is.
Yeah, it will be.
Kind of at a painful moment here. I mean, this is a
very nice
oh
melt.
My God! You know,
he
the shift
reroutes.
clicks can be deceptive.
He
Sometimes
reroutes.
you see them shift click on the map, but you know if they can, they have time. Their APM's good enough. They'll end up resetting it. Okay, he sees it anyways. And by the way, Classic sees it. Zoun doesn't. So Zoun doesn't know he's been spotted. This really tilts the game in the favor here of Classic because Zoun
opens up with the Stargate of his own. Phoenixes, let's go.
He in fact doesn't.
I mean, he has options. He has options, but he should be fine against the first Oracle. He should be able to defend. The probe does, of course, confirm, and now Classic... now Zoun knows that he's been scouted.
You know, naturally, when you go for this fast expansion here as Classic, you're going to want to follow up with the Stargate, so he hasn't really changed his game plan that much just yet, but I wonder if that first unit out of the Stargate is going to be a Phoenix. And
Classic has options. He can either go Oracle first and try to do counter damage while he defends, or he can go Phoenix to shut down the Oracle.
So this isn't going to be some insane commitment coming out of Zoun. How much is he going to get done with this Oracle is my main question.
There's a Phoenix.
Okay, here comes that first Oracle. The shield battery makes it a lot harder. Oh,
ooh,
that was
very
so
nice.
Cool. What's up? Oh, that was so cool.
Very nice
I didn't even know you can mineral walk like that. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. That was nasty.
That was awesome.
Just got in there. And citizen's arrest on the stun there from the Oracle. Getting, I mean, basically no value.
Yeah, I wonder which mineral patch you clicked to do that. That was so cool.
Yeah.
When that replay pack gets released to the Patreon supporters, dude, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna load this one up like immediately.
Yeah.
I gotta rewind and see what mineral patch you clicked. I didn't know that you could route them through there. Usually when you mineral walk, it's like to your opponent's base or something. It's hard to actually mineral walk through.
Yeah. It must be some kind of patch he has, or maybe 2 different patches he uses in his own base.
Yeah, that was so cool.
So the pylon's a little bit bruised right now, but Classic's going to go back. He's not going to overextend. Now Blink is coming first here for Zoun.
I still can't get over how awesome that move was there for Classic.
It was great.
I wonder if that caught Zoun by surprise as well, because the mineral layout isn't the exact same.
The inner Protoss and states. No.
Some maps where you cannot do that.
Phoenix moves in.
Personally, I
Going
haven't
for the
seen it
stasis.
before. And also, it depends on where the shield battery, or not the shield battery, excuse me, the stasis trap's going down. Like, I don't know if Zoun could actually mineral walk if he wanted to try and shut that one down with probes. The one that Classic just threw in his main base. What a cool moment.
So from here, both players are switching into Blink. We do have another gateway on the way for Classic. We'll see who expands. We'll see if anyone commits into extra gateways and commits onto bases. For the most part, we should be working and building up towards a mid game, but we'll see if that's the case as, we have a proxy pylon out of Zoun. Uh-oh.
These games are basically, they're going
he gets found.
Blink at about the same time as far as when they
Zoun is like, how did you find me?
Zoun's asking Classic if he's map hacking. They're both laughing a little bit about it. Yeah, Classic, his scouting has been so on point so far this game. He scouted the proxy Stargate, his
like
presence on the
this.
map, and map awareness has just been so on point.
Mate, how do you see so
And
much?
he's going for a really fast
again.
third base. Zoun, we're going to see if he goes for the exact same thing, if he's going to try and take a third base of his own, or if he's just going to really commit heavily to
Zoun is committing on 2 bases. He's not expanding. He commits. He sends it, papi.
Okay, Stalker's going to be coming up.
He's moving into stasis traps.
He's tagged him.
No!
There is a stun.
Oh my god!
No.
Yeah,
Brutal
and-
stasis.
Oh,
Classic, calm down.
Classic, just every single tactical
GG.
moment went in his favor, and that is going to be game number 4 wrapped.
Oh my god.
We never even got like the big explosive fight.
GG,
It felt like
Wolf.
there were there were so many little tiny interactions which didn't seem that consequential, but Classic he just won every single one.
What State is getting at is that we had a lot of small incremental wins there for Classic back to back to back to back, where he was able to shut down the Stargate, he was able to shut down the pylon, he was able to get his third base up and running, he was able to catch or do some counter damage, of course, shut down the stasis field, the stasis trap in his own mineral line. Like, so many little things just went his way to the point where it's like GG. GG. Ay.
Take a moment and
Very
set
clean.
for these next 3 maps, because he has to win 3 in a row if he wants to make it to the grand finals from that upper bracket with the advantage. Otherwise, he is going to fall to the lower bracket. He won't be out of the RSL, but he will have to face the winner of Cura versus Raynor to have the privilege to get a rematch.
Are we cutting to a
versus
break?
Classic should he lose.
Or are we committing?
That's right. We need you guys to join us on YouTube. We stream on Twitch.
Looks like it might be a break here, but again, do support the RSL via YouTube. You can support ourselves via YouTube as well. YouTube is the place to be for VOD content, all the VODs, all the content, all the StarCraft. All the StarCrafts. As we're nearing the end of the broadcast, potentially, of course. Classic needs one more win to win it all here and now. Otherwise, Zoun has to fight back and win 3 games in a row, or just win 2 games in a row to force the ace match.
Tournaments happening everywhere.
Oh boy.
Trying to kind of get this out there. This is a very new tournament we're doing. We've been loving doing it.
But I think they might actually go for a break. We'll see.
Easy. Just open up that second tab.
It's possible that Zoun asks for a couple of moments.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to go to a short break.
There we go. Break time. We'll see you soon after the break.
Is going to continue here in the winners finals of RSL.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the tail end of the potentially. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Classic is up 3-1. He needs one more. Unamas, one more game to claim the win and to take the series. As last game was a little bit telling, last game was a little bit concerning, with Classic looking very strong, looking very in form, very on top of everything on Tokamak. Tokamak was maybe the most dominant we've seen of Classic in this series, and we actually haven't seen Classic be the aggressor yet. I would imagine that will change coming into Magnatha, but we'll see. We'll see, as Magnatha is also known for a lot of proxy locations. Let's go.
All right, Magnatha here for map number 5, Classic, the red Protoss. Spawning in the top left, Zoun, the blue Protoss in the bottom right. Are we going to have the same story as 3 of the other maps?
I just tried to move the camera.
It's my
Classic
favorite
goes
story.
for the one-gate expand. Zoun tries to stop him and
just
fails.
like Gemini SC2, his favorite story is to watch the Star Wars movies over and over, and he hasn't seen other movies. This is my favorite PvP. I just keep watching. Fast expand into... No, I guess we're not going to have it this time, actually. It's one gate.
Yeah, we might still have it.
Maybe
we'll
2 gates.
have to see. But Classic, his defense at the early game is
What are they talking
about?
So welcome to Magnatha. Magnatha does not have a ramp coming into the natural, so we do expect 2 gate openers out of our players. If any player does not go for a 2 gate opener, we will try to point that out, and we'll try to point it out. We'll see if either player can try to punish. We did see Classic cutting corners in the last game. We'll see if corners are cut once again, as gases are on the way.
Firing on all cylinders right now. He looks so scary in the early game PvPs.
Okay, so both sides going for 2 gates. Zoun's probe going to be getting in here a little bit sooner.
Yeah, he wants to make...
Yes, from here we do see Classic skirting around the left-hand side. If you remember, we spoke about how we expected to see Classic go for 1 base or Lins, but we didn't have the opportunity. I thought we were going to see it on Tokamak. We're seeing it here, potentially, as the probe does skirt around the edge, and we'll see if we go for a real proxy pylon or a fake proxy pylon.
Well, we've had plenty of those.
I wonder if this is Classic's turn to get aggro.
Looking fake so
the
far.
further away it is, I guess that is still closer, right? But that's it's not like it's a pylon in the middle of the map.
He does abandon the position. You can see the probe moving out, so because the pylon is left alone, we do expect that to just get up and running on its own.
This is like an old trick, but it's pretty good even to this day. I feel like it's actually very underutilized. Is you just hide a pylon and don't do anything with it.
I do this at a lot of my PvPs. I'm a trickster.
I actually used to do this a lot more, and I stopped. But I think it's like always worth incorporating again, because a good player.
Taste is saying it's underutilized. It's used quite often in PvP. Like fake. There's a reason why we call it fake proxy pylons. Is because it is definitely something that you do mix in.
I mean, it's almost like
it happens.
You can then force them to over defend, and then you can just play a boring game.
And it works really well maybe after you do a proxy and go for one base all in, or even if you have a reputation like Classic does as well.
For Zoun,
he's looking
haphazardly the Classic threw that probe into the main base, just not caring if he loses it at all. Playing this very, very deceitfully. And as a result, Zoun, he's just scouting everywhere on the map right now.
Zoun is scouting, and Zoun goes for a Robo opener, so this is hyper defensive out of Zoun, expecting aggression. Now, Zoun can turn this opener into a one base all in, but that's not the initial goal here that Zoun is going for.
Or if he's just trying to blind counter what might potentially be the aggression.
He's trying to blind counter.
Of Classic. And do we have a building get canceled there? I actually missed what it was. He's building a Nexus now. I wonder if he was considering adding another gateway.
Yeah, 3 sentries are going to have a hard time fighting the Stalkers, but with the battery, I don't think he can really do that much. 4 could change that, though.
2 force fields available here for Classic. There is a shield battery as well, and man, the sentries do a lot of damage to shields.
War Prism started here for Zoun. It looks like he might want to try to push his advantage here.
Yeah, I mean, his expansion is so delayed. Classic's just finished up, and Zoun's is only now 50% complete. That I think for Zoun here, you just try to utilize that Robotech, get the War Prism out, maybe drop either Adepts or do some kind of Stalker drop and just get any probe damage you can.
Oh, is he looking? Oh.
Is looking.
Dude, if he
reacted.
Was
so
Ooh, gets a Stalker.
He has to turn to get down the ramp.
Little Stalker's cone head roll down the ramp.
It's bad for Zoun, but it honestly could have been worse. If he reacted just a moment later, those sentries could have force field everything.
Zoun, we're going to calm down. Calm down, Bobby. Calm down.
Okay, so Blink started. Immortal started here, too. Zoun getting that Immortal tech up.
No Twilight Council yet for Zoun.
Yeah, where is it? Is he not going to get that?
It's an interesting setup.
I feel like you actually just have to get that.
I would be surprised if he just decided to throw down additional gateways here and push with a Robo. Okay, finally now the Twilight Council is coming in.
So I don't think he wants to do anything for a while.
Yeah, so Zoun from here, he's going to be building up on 2 bases. He could go into Glaive Adepts. Glaive Adepts are going to be an option for Zoun. If he does go for it, then we can discuss how Immortal Glaives works and how it builds up on 2 bases. Otherwise, we're kind of slowing things down here after the early game, with Classic maintaining a lead.
Signals to me that this is
Remember, Classic was able to get its base up and running faster, and now extending his lead, going for the faster third.
Where with this late Twilight Council, Zoun will be trying to get something like a Glaive Adept Immortal timing done.
Yeah, there's a reason why State brought up Glaives, we brought up as well. Like, Glaives is a viable option here to commit.
Is that going to be the direction we go? No, instead
never mind.
It will be Blink.
Blink.
But Classic is just a tempo ahead.
Yeah, the problem with not going into Glaives here is that now Zoun is just strictly behind, right? He's behind in tech, he's behind in upgrades, he's behind in economy. I mean, what does he have instead? Immortals, right? The Immortal count is in favor of Zoun, and that is something that he can hold on to for the rest of the game, and he can maybe build up towards and hit a strong timing with, which is what Glaives would have been for, but he's not going for that.
And this doesn't seem to be a game that could end no matter how, you cut it, unless you were to try to attack in too early.
More gateways, more Immortals coming in here for Zoun. His Classic's getting a little bit aggressive on the map. Charge is only halfway done, but Blink is completed. And actually, Classic immediately throwing down 5 more gateways. So he's going to be using the mineral income from his third base. Actually,
ooh, nice snipe.
Blink forward right there by Classic. A bold move immediately snipes the War Prism, limiting the micro potential from Zoun, then focuses down the sentries. Now going for the
Does get one of the Immortals.
He's going to get it. In fact, one more Stalker for his trouble. You know, in terms of cost, in terms of unit value, I think that was probably a relatively even trade, but Classic got some very critical units of Zoun.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about the value. It's the fact that, like, okay, that was 2 robo units that were killed off here. We're on the advent of 5 gates about to finish. The Warp Prism with charge is going to be done. So the Warp Prism's, you know, nearly finished.
The problem here is the trade was relatively equivalent, but Zoun, like, he was behind economically, right? Like, Classic had the better economy. Classic just lost, what, 6 probes? He's still up in workers. Like, Classic still has more resources to work with, to reinforce, to build up a larger army. Zoun is looking pretty committed. Zoun is looking pretty all-in.
Gearing up,
like, he's just sending it across the map.
In fact, both players, their armies are moving cross map right now.
This
Oh,
let's
is
go.
so weird because, like, one of them's going to be wrong here, right? This can't possibly go.
I mean, recalls are going to be
Go
available.
well for both of them. It's going to be basically a base trade unless one opts into recall. Zoun's going to hit, I think, a second before Classic does.
Zoun is first.
The Classic's got charge, and his Stalkers are going to be
Hits
really
the natural.
fast. Could
Let's
we get
go.
a force field on the ramp? I guess it wouldn't matter if you have a Warp Prism of your own. It's 20 Stalkers
Gets into the main.
down as well. He's gonna
So does
shut down
Classic. Classic also in the main base.
Oh my
Going for the
God.
production.
Oh no, the pylon. All right, Probe's getting recalled now to the 3rd base of
Classic
Classic.
supply blocks. He
does have a
can't
lot of
warp
minerals.
in.
Okay, he's gonna actually throw down shield batteries. Does he have enough time to get home and defend?
He's going to kill all the probes, I think. No, this can't work. Hold on a second. This is so weird.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get back in time.
Yeah, the
I think
problem is
Zhao's
that
gonna be able to take
Classic,
the
he just
third
spent his
base.
recall in his
They have
workers.
to get canceled.
So that was a wasted
One
recall.
hidden pylon earlier on in this game. It always does come down to who destroyed each other's buildings. It's
And in a head-on fight, without reinforcements, and because Zoun has immortals, I favor Zoun in a head-on fight.
Zhaon,
on the other hand, sorry, there's 34 probes here for Classic, and
Yeah.
Classic has the resources to make a Nexus, so I think all you have to do is go to the natural or the main of Zhaon's starting location.
Oh, going for the gold.
What?
why do you go for
Okay.
the gold here, Classic?
Let's go.
Okay, never mind.
That is a bold choice. It makes sense because at this point the main base is already half mined out or very close to being half mined out for Zoun. But taking the gold, it's concerning. Zoun does have
I mean,
more
is Zoun going to
Stalkers
scout the
than
gold?
Classic.
Like, if he never sees it, then it may no matter. In the Classic, oh, he finds a base! He finds it! He knows he's going! The elevation! He's going for
I
it!
feel like it must be
Those are the final buildings! Now, Zoun does have money. He does have money to warp in somewhere else.
Something happened with Hallucination. He was able to scout the expansion at 12 o'clock. 2 of the 3 probes
I
that
think-
Zoun has are right here.
Ooh,
this
gets
is
two.
it. Because
Now, Zanny can't
he's
afford
got one
more
pylon
buildings.
hidden here.
He can cancel the Nexus and
Probes are
afford
gonna
another.
roam here with
Cancel.
this. By the way, Classic
He should be
doesn't
able
have the
to.
money to make another pylon. He has
He should
probes to
cancel.
mine,
He should
obviously,
cancel.
but,
He
you
should-
know,
there we
let's
go.
say that well, actually, never mind. Classic just has a sitting infrastructure here in his main. Okay, it's a lot of
That's a lot of
Stalkers,
force
but
fields.
the force
Jesus.
fields for Classic can cut this up.
There's
into a
just so many
favorable
sentries.
To the probes getting mixed in with the
Yeah.
armies right now is so cool. They actually absorb a lot of damage from the Stalkers, from the Immortals. Force Field's isolating this Immortal.
Oh my God.
He finally gets lifted back there at the last moment on 1 HP. That Warp Prism able to save the day, but Zhaoni's trying to flex the muscles right now with the range.
And again, in a head-on fight with those immortals, they add so much more DPS.
Dude, actually, is Classic going to lose this? He doesn't quite have that much.
Yeah, the Immortal and the greater Stalker count here for Zhaon are really pulling their weight.
Now remember, no,
Nice
Zhaon
snipes.
wins this.
I think he
Yeah,
does.
Zoun, yeah, he outtrades.
There's just so much more micro potential here.
Oh, wait. But there's one Nexus over here on the right. I guess, well, he can't kill that, can he?
No, there's no way. I mean, Classic, his army, there's very little left. He still has a win condition if he can snipe the bases. Classic,
He has the goal base, he has more workers. Classic can build up an economy and actually reinforce and warp in, but he needs pylons, right? He has to break out of the supply block.
Army supply 30 to 48.
He needs
but Zhaon
pylons.
probably doesn't feel like he can leave.
Zhaon spots it.
He finds
he
it.
sees it.
Do you go
But-
for this as Zhaon, though?
Oh my God, he's gonna unload
He
here.
finds it.
Where are the Stalkers of Classic right now? Okay,
right
they're
there, they're
actually,
right
yeah,
there.
they're right here. Okay, so if the
Oh,
Nexus
no,
goes
hold on,
down...
hold on. There's one more building at 6. There's an assimilator at 6.
Yeah, true.
It's canceled.
All right, Nexus gets canceled. If,
Nexus started down here.
Another
if there
Nexus.
is no Nexus on
The
the
Prism
map
might find
for
this.
Zhaon, he will get revealed. Classic, he is scouting as best he can, trying to find where all these buildings are.
Is there a core in this game? There's not, right?
No, but Classic gets charged. I think he just wants to make Zealots
Oh,
anyway.
actually, I forgot about
Okay,
that.
Classic
Yeah.
finds it.
Okay, so he's going to leave some Immortals because he knows basically the Immortals can beat the Stalkers.
The dynamic is very interesting right now. Classic has the gold base. So
Now, Classic, he has broken out the supply block, and he has money, which means he can warp in. He can warp in Zealots.
He has the better army, but if he loses the Nexus, he can't remake it again. He doesn't have enough money. He will be revealed, and there's only one more structure for Zoun on the map. Classic, he cannot win in a head-on engagement.
Another wrap around.
Zoun, he's attacking the gold base now. He can't take
We're
this
going for the
out,
base trade.
but
He
Classic
commits.
knows where the last 2 buildings of
He's
Zoun
going for the
are. Okay,
buildings.
there's one more building for
He's
Zoun.
going.
One more similar to
Where's the probe?
center of the map.
Yeah.
It's going to
Where's
come
the
down to the
probe?
buildings.
The thing is, Classic had some time to build up more
He
of
has
an
none.
army.
Sorry, he has no probes. Zoun, I mean.
He's going to force this to be canceled, or is he going to be killed? Oh, he's
This
going to
is
go up the
insane.
ramp.
Let's
All
go.
right, we can force field this. Whoa.
In a moment, Zoun is going to be revealed. Classic will know that Zoun
Classic,
only
he can't
has
get away.
one more building on the map.
There's
it is
no-
this assimilator.
There's no way for
Do we draw?
Classic to
We
build up.
draw if Zoun
There's
decides
no
to
way
just
for
stay
Zoun
at the
to
gas
build
geyser,
up
at the
an
simulator. Like, the players can agree to
Doesn't know
draw.
for a fact that Zoun doesn't have enough money to make additional structures. He doesn't know there's only
But
one
Zoun-
probe on the map either.
No, Zoun has 0 probes on the map.
Oh, he had lost that probe too.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, Classic, he doesn't have that information, so the calculus of what to do here for Classic is not
So
quite as
technically,
simple
this
as
could be a
one
draw.
thing.
Like, if Zoun refuses to move, and if Classic refuses to move, then we just draw, right?
He could just take the draw by defending. There is no way, in my mind, that
Yeah, the
Classic can
state's
break
talking
down
about
and
it.
kill this assimilator if
Like,
Zoun
this
stays
may
in
just be a
position.
draw.
It's potential that we go into a regame here if Zoun decides to play this defensively.
Mm-hmm.
But if he decides to go for the win, it's still within the realm of possibility. But with 8 Stalkers, 4 Zealots, and the 2 Sentries here for Classic, there is a real chance, if Zoun gets overambitious, that Classic will be able to snipe that
He's going for
assimilator.
it. Okay.
And Classic being
Oh,
up
no.
3 games to 1, he can take that risk.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess there's not a world where you can just like kamikaze on.
It's either we draw or
Zoun
I mean that's it, right? Like Zoun, he's choosing not to push.
All right, well, I'm gonna go microwave a bag of popcorn, and I'll come back here when they decide to do something. This is
Also, shout out to
This is a
Silly Dobby
crazy
as well.
game. Yeah,
God,
I catch
thank you so
so
much.
much
Thank you so much
StarCraft
for
too.
subscribing. The resub.
and
Draw. Yeah, it's a draw. Like it
you
is.
never really get these games. You know it's possible, right?
Like it is possible to
Probably
win, but if
deserves
both players
a
agree that they're never going to
drops
attack into each
$1
other, then
bombs
it's going to be
here right
like
now.
this is a draw.
Blowing my mind.
the-
Wait a minute, hold on. What is Mabu saying?
He's informing the world.
Like I don't know if Mapu is aware of this, but like this should be a draw. Like if Zoun announces that he never attacks, and if Classic announces that he will never attack as well, like that's just draw. Unless Classic decides to ape in, but he shouldn't.
So funny.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
No, it's just.
Oh, Classic picks off one
Luckily,
Stalker.
we got a mic hooked up at Mabu's computer. Mabu, you take it from here.
All right. Well,
Oh my God.
Classic actually just spent all of his Sentry Energy hallucinating zealots. Is he going to go for it? Jason, I think he's going to go for it.
He's going for it. He's
my
crazy.
God, this is gonna
He
be
dives in.
maybe the
Can he get it?
greatest-
Can he get it? Oh, the assimilator!
Classic wins. He is going to the grand
This may be
final.
one of the greatest plays of all time.
Even Zoun can't help.
Oh my
but
God.
laugh about it.
He's
That's pretty
crazy.
stunning.
Oh my God, we just saw history get made.
I didn't think Classic could actually dive that assimilator and take it down. That was so
Oh my
sick.
God.
Zoun perhaps wasn't expecting Classic to go in that moment. Mapu was right.
No.
One of them could
Mabu
win.
was right.
Wow, what a moment. What a game. What a way to end
Oh
this
my
best
God.
of seven.
Completely forgot that you could do that.
Yeah, it was a really smart use of energy there for Classic to be able to just like tank all those volleys, make all those hallucinations. Classic, he went for it. GG.
Yeah, that was a really fun way to end the
I need a
series.
cigarette. Is what I need. Oh my God.
That was fun.
That was insane.
Este
very,
Classic.
very cool game
That's
to
one
close
of the
it
greatest.
out.
I'm literally one of the greatest moments in the game's history just happened there.
Yeah, that was spectacular. What a great finish.
And Mapu's knowledge bomb. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Try cast tasteless. Wow. What a series, fellas. That is going to be the upper bracket final for you. Classic is now going into the grand finals. Zoun is going to fall into the losers finals. He's not out of the RSL yet. He will have to face the winner of Rainer versus Cure tomorrow.
But with that, that's going to be the final, the one and only series of the broadcast. Congratulations to Classic, does claim the series 4-1. Very intense and potential draw in that final game, but again, Classic, he did go for the kill. He was able to tank those volleys and snipe that assimilator. Very intense, very clutch. And tomorrow we're going to be live with Rainer versus Cure and the winner versus Zoun. So tomorrow we have 2 series, and then after that we have the grand final. So we have 2 days left of RSL. 2 days.
All of our lives led up to this moment.
Yeah, they really
Think
did.
of your whole childhood, everything you've ever experienced in your whole life. It all led up to this moment. All your good times, all your bad times too, it all led up to this moment so it could happen here and you could see it happen.
It's the butterfly effect too, man. One of
yeah.
our viewers, maybe they have one of those bad moments becomes a good moment, one of those good moments becomes a bad moment. Maybe Classic loses that game.
Well, I'll just say this. Imagine you're in the timeline where you didn't see the Classic hallucinated zealot into all-in on the assimilator. You'd be in the wrong timeline.
Yeah, that was one of the most exciting finishes I think I've ever seen in StarCraft 2. What a way to end the series. Folks, we have 2 days left of the RSL. Tomorrow
Get through the window.
Sunday, 7 p.m. KST is when those matches will be kicking off.
But with that, we're going to be wrapping up. Going to be wrapping up here for the day. Again, a bit of a shorter broadcast when it comes to the rest of our schedule. Bam! You can see here that we're going to be live tomorrow. Tomorrow with the KSL. The Korean StarCraft League is going to be tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. KST. That's going to be at 1 p.m. AEST. That is going to be in Jesus. What, 16 hours time? It's gonna be a while. So that's gonna be our next broadcast. And of course, we still have RSL for the next 2 days. For the next 2 days, we still have that RSL action. And yes, 15 hours and 40 minutes. So around 16 hours time is going to be the Korean StarCraft League. So you can check us out there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate the support as we wrap up the Revival StarCraft League Season 2. We are almost there, ready to crown our champion. And it's been far too long since we've had a Korean StarCraft League. It feels like it's been far too long. So great to embrace that over the weekend, as it is an open cup more catered towards the Korean scene and the Korean region. So we'll be there again in around 16 hours. Meanwhile, I was just live a couple of just before this cast. I was just live on my personal channel, judging some maps and going through the TLMC 21. I now have only the rush maps left. I have to go through the rush maps. Before that, though, I'm gonna be kind of like revising the previous notes that I had, the feedback that I gave, and going through the final scorings for standard, for macro, and for dynamic maps. Really exciting stuff. Really exciting. If you missed out, I do recommend checking out the VOD on my channel. There are multiple 3-player and multiple 4-player small maps that are up for voting. Some of them are pretty solid, some a little bit less so. But really exciting to see that there's a little bit more variety. And I'm hoping that we can get multiple of these maps through to the voting phase. The biggest criticism that I had for Last Fantasy was that it was the only choice for a 3-player small map. If we can get multiple choices, then hey, we can get a better map in instead. That would be the hope, at least. So yeah, they have their own unique quirks, their own unique features, of course, and we'll be featuring them during TLMC 21. Let's go. Let us go. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the KSL and for more RSL as well. See you then. See you then. Papi, see you then. Hasta luego.